Hello everyone, welcome back. Like I said in the last video, that change is taking place and everything is advancing really fast in the background, although some things might not feel that way, but actually it is. Even in the slow season of energy accretion. And the area that's being actually affected by this accretion and the upcoming changes, is the area of relationship and how we're going to interact with each other from now on. Well, for most people that have lived within a certain mind, this already starts to feel like there's a lot of earthquakes here and there, but this will increasingly start to feel like that as one resists change and is lost in, say, the old ways. This doesn't come as a punishment, but this is a result of the actual energy accretion and what's to come, and basically dismantling the old reality and dismantling in the end the illusions that have created all this suffering inside people. I started to talk about this particular thing in the latest update in a segment called Becoming Conscious, and I was trying to give you an idea of like how the mechanics, the mechanism of like this thing has worked until now and what is to come from now on. I mean, it was already happening, but it's accessible only for those that have done enough work and will continue to do that work and code and things like that, but progressively will become more and more available to more and more people as more will open themselves up and start to do the work. Becoming conscious in the area of relationship, like I said, is the biggest thing that is going to change in the coming decades, but especially this will be felt strongly in this decade from now on. The nature of relationships, our interactions is already changing, but there are things that are still things that might seem radical, that they are just small pockets that some people experience, and it's not really available for the majority of people, but that will start to increasingly be evident and more visible for more people as they open themselves up to the change and to do the work. In the sphere of relationship, the thing that will change from now on, and the thing that has been affected until now the most, has been the relationship, the love relationship, family relationship, but a big portion of the drama and trauma has been the actual union between whatever woman and a man. But it's not limited to that, because we don't live in those times where we ignore the fact that love has no gender, and love can manifest between whatever. Here is the area that has suffered the most, because has been conditioned by sexuality, or people understood by sexuality. Still, it's an area that I don't like to talk about this. It's very uncomfortable, because it's still a very sensitive area, because there's still a lot of problems, and women and children are still the most affected by it, because of how things have been, the distortion of that could express itself because of certain levels of energy. And as I said, this area has been the most affected, and there's a lot of trash. And here things will start to actually shift dramatically as more and more people understand that they are more than just something to be validated by sexuality. We will not, from now on, those that will start to increasingly become conscious and understand that life is about more and other things, and love is bigger and can mean other things, other types of expression, or what is understood as sexuality can be expressed at something through something else, or what we've seen until now, what we've understood as relationships, they will take a different form. Until now, people have consumed life by default, like consumed each other, and most people haven't put back what they found in the initial, coming together, that bam, between two people, that explosion, those fireworks. Most people consume what the initial moment brings, and then it's like, oh, love has disappeared, so there's nothing left, so we discard each other like some old tools. And in a way, ironically or not, we have been for each other tools to understand life and to grow and accrete energy and move beyond that. But life from now on is about other things and other type of expression, and it's not about just suffering and limit ourselves to think that that's it, and we have no value if somebody doesn't validate us in this way. So until now, the ceiling has been the sexuality. Here, a lot of our validation and what understand love, and what we understand that the supreme, whatever satisfaction in life is this. So the sexuality, the ceiling has blocked life constantly. A lot of this stuff, yes, has been for the purpose of procreation and bringing more souls to create, to bring more, whatever, sources of energies like quantums that can, we can expand the energy. But life will mean other things beyond a certain point and beyond a threshold of complete healing, and also in between. We will stop hurting ourselves in this way. Well, some people already have a higher awareness and can see relationships and partnerships in a much more elevated and more expansive way, but for most people still this is very limited and very dramatic, and it's all very black and white and traumatic, and because the individuals themselves haven't really haven't really dissolved not just the noise, but like to first of all recognize that there is noise, but the trauma that everyone carries since they have entered this reality, and the journey that they had until now. One has to process all that in order to move beyond and experience something else, transform him or herself. It's something that has to be done, and no one is excused from it. But as one undergoes this process, we will start to recognize, and first of all, we start to respect each other more. We will start to see each other for what we are in each other's life, and appreciate more the roles that we each other played in each other's life for a certain period of time, and understand what that part of the journey meant. But also just a little going back to what I said, relationship, what this has been until now, why certain relationships have ended maybe abruptly, or I don't know, in a way that are stupid, is because when people think that they don't have energy and clarity to see that love hasn't disappeared, but it's just going through this pattern, and there's less energy, so there's the fear pushing one to say certain things, do certain things, and there's no light to feel like, oh, maybe it's not true, and I should just keep push through so I can actually go to the other end and see the light. So when there's not enough light, for most people, it's hard to actually see more than what they see in that moment in anything, in a situation, in their relationship, and things that determine them to make a certain decision. So that's going to change as more energy is being accessed by more people, as in like as they continue to do the cleaning, the expansion of the space inside, which will naturally will shift that perception. It's not just like, oh, my shift, it's a completely different way of actually seeing things, and you'll see that there's more in life, and love is so much bigger and means so much more, and beyond a certain point what is understood as sexuality doesn't even exist, but it feels so big and orgasmic, if you will, that it feels like what we understand as sexuality and what people have tried to achieve through sexuality. But beyond a certain point, you'll understand that also what I wanted, actually I can have it inside myself without the help of no one. Like, oh wow, that's and all this time I was running, I don't know, in this direction so I can find that thing. Oh wow, that doesn't mean in the future certain unions, certain coming together of two people won't be magical and wonderful and useful for the story and for useful for the evolution of the story and things we want to experience. No, but as one becomes more powerful and more whole and has more space inside oneself, we'll start to experience true love that's conditioned by no one and nothing, and that's there, and that's huge. And it's like, whoa, so why I was running, I don't know, away from myself and trying to get this person, that person to love me, when I have this treasure inside myself. Why did I do that? Well, because there was not enough light. And and we all did or do whatever we thought best in a particular moment, like how much awareness we had in each moment, and how we were supposed to go through the story to accrete energy to create realization in ourselves. So all these stories where we say like, oh, it's a failure or whatever, actually they were meant to trigger an awareness, advance the awareness until one will reach a certain point where we'll understand, oh, so it's all in here, like for real, not like a nice thing to say, but it's like it's in here, all of it, all what I was looking for, it's in here. And then you become really your own person. And it's not about like, oh, from now on I'm not going to need anyone, or no, because we will continue the story, but we will continue in a different way. And like I said in the latest update, that we will not take our value from each other like we did until now. We will not be dependent on the other, because now there's been a battle of when we do that, or we did that, or most people do that, is because they cannot find the energy to sustain themselves, to keep themselves on a course and say, like, hey, I have value. No, I have to be validated by this person or that person, whatever. So I feel like I have value, like my place in this world has to be validated somehow, or otherwise, why am I here? When we understand that each of us are like antennas, and like we come with our own stream of energy, quantum, that like it's a constant thing, and when we'll start stealing or trying to steal energy from each other to be validated, to create all sorts of weird things that now people think, oh, this is the nature of relationships, either it's family or whatever. A lot of things is going to change because of that, because more energy is going to become available. And like I said, we will start to really appreciate each other for what we were, what we are, what we have given each other, the opportunity for us to realize something, and for them to realize whatever they needed to realize about themselves, and move beyond that, because that's just another, it's a little, a few more steps, but then there's many others, and many other levels of existence. And this is a process, as I said, is a process of disentanglement, when one really, that's what becoming conscious is. Becoming conscious is becoming and become full aware of like what you really are, like this whole power is inside me, oh wow, and then you really have access to it. But that's a state, that's a true state. It can't be faked. It's not something like, as I said, something pretty that most people still are in the spiritual realm, whatever spiritual communities, that still talk about these things as a nice thing, and do all sorts of exercise and techniques. But those things, like, I'm asking a lot of people, like, why do you do that? Oh, because, as I said, I want to relax, I want to be more centered, and I don't know, do better at work. And they don't see beyond those patterns. They do this because they want to, I don't know, earn a bit more money, do this and do that. That's not a bad thing. However, it's limited. Moving from now on, energy is moving beyond these things. And when I'm speaking about these things is because internally I experience that awareness beyond what most people understand as life. I don't talk about from the books right now. I'm talking about from direct experience. And it's hard even for me to like express or talk to people about these things when they don't even see what I'm trying to say, because their awareness is not there. It's not ready to, whatever I would say, it's invisible. It's like, what are we talking about? It's interesting. I don't understand. It's like, it's another language. So this is also an effect of like the energies being strangled by or used by patterns that circulate like loops inside your mind that basically steal the energy that you would actually otherwise could use for your growth, for expressing more awareness and becoming free and more powerful, and see that life really means something else and will mean something else from now on. So this is what this decade that's coming, will start to unfold from now on. It's going to look like a lot of earthquakes, but at the same time, a lot of good things is going to come out of it. And the more willing one is to actually undergo this process of transformation, it will be easier than resist it, because resisting, it's kind of like futile and will only make it worse, make it more painful. So that's how we're going to actually create heaven, how we're going to manifest heaven on earth, if you will, is by actually undergoing this process of becoming conscious and expressing our true nature beyond a certain point in energy, that we can already access our true power, the core of our power, and exist from that level, from the thing that what I said, like living from the truth. So that's how we're going to manifest this. I hope this was interesting. See you next time. Ciao. Front of information that is like a wall, and have to have the key to act.